Good evening. I'm Isidoro Nieto, President of Weslaco ISD Board of Trustees. This special board meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice that this meeting has been posted online for at least 3 business days prior to the meeting date. The time now is 5:30, and I will call this meeting to order. I will now begin the roll call. Mrs. Jackie Suseita.
Present.
Coach Armando Cuellar.
Present.
Mr. Ben Castillo.
Present.
Coach Eddie Serna.
Present.
Mr. Mark de los Santos.
Present.
And Dr. Jaime is in the back. He should be here in a minute. Number 3, public comments. Dr. Rivera.
There are none.
None. Thank you. Number 4. Dr. Jaime?
Sure.
Welcome. Number 4, discussion and possible action on an incentive stipend for staff. Dr. Rivera.
Yes, I have one slide I want to show. So these are factors that were impacting the budget. Number 1, the school year, there's a decrease in student enrollment by 300 plus students, which equals to approximately a loss of 2.5 billion. Due to this, there will be a reduction of teachers, staff, administrators through attrition. Number 2, there are 34 federal positions that are at risk and may not be funded for next school year. So I have to find a way so that people here will not lose their jobs. On number 3, the 24-25 health insurance budget had a deficit of 1.2 million that we had to take from fund balance. Number 4, the 25-26 health insurance budget could have a projected deficit of 4 million. We do have a rising cost of substitutes. It was increased by about 1 million due to personal leave absences. So these are questions, concerns that I have to address as your superintendent when we do the new budget for next year. In addition, on the bottom, there's a factor for 26-27 that we have no new state monies. We do know, beginning with that year, there's going to be vouchers and virtual schools that will take effect and could impact the school district's loss of enrollment. I do want to say that I recommended to the board to approve the compensation plan, and that included the $1,000 stipend. So it's already there, it's already budgeted, and the reason I kind of put a hold on this was because of the above, the 1 through 5. But it is in the compensation plan, and Mr. Nieto, I'll get your guidance on what you want for me to do.
I'll move to approve, Dr. Rivera.
We have a motion by Coach Corral to approve the incentive stipend for staff. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Mr. Ben Castillo. Any discussion?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Mr. Los Santos?
I have to say that I'm gonna have to be honest, okay? This topic has weighed very heavily on me for a very long time, and this journey started kind of back in July. Like I said, we've always been at odds. You know, I respect Dr. Rivera a lot, I really do, but we've always been at odds since July when I first reached out to you, Trustee Nieto and Dr. Rivera, about calling a special board meeting because of some figures that were shown to us in the June 2025 packet. At that time, it was the 2025-2026 packet, and it also had the figures for June from the previous year, and in there, it showed that we had a payroll deficit, right? Shortly after, like I said, I reached out to you, we called the meeting, and the issue is here, I can't sit here and look at this and be honest to myself be honest with the public and say that this is because of these factors here that we're currently having issues now. The factor is that, like I said, that we have, if you look at the 24-25 June 30th report that you received in September, and you have heard the discussions that we've had since July, that our budgets for the last 2 years have been marred by accusations from whistleblowers, right? that we were given inaccurate information, inaccurate budgets. And that led us to approve stipends and raises in 24, 25 that we shouldn't have, which then directly impacted our unreserved fund balance. And there's proof of that. He gave it to you in September in the documentation there. It was in the packet. You know, you could take one and pass one. If you could take one of those and pass one out there. And so,
And just a reminder, because I know we have.
this directly impacts the stipend. Yes.
Just a reminder that we do have that item on the budget
Right.
for Monday.
Right.
Okay, so here, we're just here for the stipend.
Well,
Continue.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, knowing that we had a operational deficit and employees there carry over from 24 to 25, and then on top of that, at the direction of the administration, we gave an additional local raises, right? Other than the 2 state categories, and then we also did it across administration at 4%, right? And then also across our hourly staff. Knowing that we have that, and you're talking about an 8-digit bubble, right? In the paper that you see there, you have a $14 million deficit. And you were told to deduct the construction costs below it that are coming out of savings from that, showing you that you had $1 million. But if you look at the line items there under expenses, there is no construction costs in that column. Okay? So the reality is this: we don't have to wait until February for Carl Riggs to give us a report. You have staff members. They're not here today. The CFO's not here today, and neither is this other individual that does the budget analysis. But we can get that report instantly already from them as far as where we stand at 24, 25 as far as for payroll. My concern here is this: is you see your savings dropping. In September, for instance, you had a presentation to the community that you had $65 million. You directed the CFO to present to them to explain what that $65 million was. Then if you look at that was in September. If you look at the October meeting, the presentation to the board from the administration and the superintendent, you were told you had $59 million, okay, and unrestricted, your savings. And then you looked at November, and then you were told that you had 57 million in that month as well. Minus construction costs that are already going to be dedicated to that for this year, so you were down to 51 million. Like I said, if you have an eight-digit payroll bill sitting there waiting for you that you can't afford, you're going to continue to push the district into very, very, very critical areas. Okay, and then that's all something that we have to look at. I understand that this is a human factor, but it's like I tell everyone else. Yes, it's a human factor because promises were made that couldn't be kept. Okay. Realistically, we gave raises and stipends in the 24-25 school year, and the data will show that we shouldn't have made because we increased our operational costs and that we can't afford. And I'm not going to be wrong. In 25-26 in May, when you get to June, you start getting early figures, you're going to go from 50 into the 40s, okay, depending on how big that eight-digit hit from payroll is going to be. And I guarantee it. I bet my seat on it, okay? I will resign if I'm wrong, and I'm not. Okay, because I've continued to look for this over a week to see if I was wrong, and I'm not. So that's coming. So let's look at the human factor of things. Yes, a promise was made, but you promised it to 2,500 staff. That's 2,500 families, okay? But you have a community of taxpayers, and you got students that are in classrooms, and you got people walking the halls that if you dip too low, this is what you're going to have to do, a reduction in force, right? Hoping and praying that people leave because the way the figures are, you're not giving raises. That's a fact in May. And I know I can already state it. And this is the awful time to do it, but you really have to think, how low am I willing to go? And what impact am I going to have also on that staff in May? Is it worth giving out $2.5 million that you don't have? You don't have it. You barely started doing funding. The whistleblower just barely got moved back to his position after Thanksgiving, and he's working on the work on the 24-25 budget's barely getting done. You don't know what you're doing in 25-26. You haven't done any accounting. We really have to think, what are we going to do, okay? And what steps are we going to take? Because we have to tell the public. We can't wait till the forensic audit on Monday. That's needed ASAP, right? And by Weaver, because Weaver doesn't deal with compadrismo or any type of favors. They come in, they do what they got to do, and then they give you the report that you need.
And you know what, Mr. Dos Santos, this information, it probably will be very good on Monday because the CFO will be here.
Yes.
And of course, that's one of the agenda items. I think that would be perfect, what you're saying, you know. Today, we're just here for the stipends, and I understand, you know, everything that you're presenting. That would be perfect for Monday, you know, just, this is my opinion, okay?
But what are we willing to do as a board, though? Like, once we discuss that, are these projects that these projects that were brought to us by the administration that are tapping into our savings, we really have to discuss that. If we're gonna give out this stipend, something has to give. So we have to kind of put a pause on those immediately, I think, because you're gonna end up paying the stipend out of your savings, right?
And right now, we have already a motion and a second.
Okay.
So now we'll take it to vote, and then after that, like I said, Monday, that would be the perfect timing. The presentation is excellent, you know, and that way, because we have those agenda items for Monday. And, you know, that would be perfect with the CFO being here, so that way he's aware of, I understand what you're presenting, excellent information. But that way, we can make that vote today, and then on Monday, we'll decide, okay, what is the steps that we need to do, okay?
Can I have a little bit of discussion?
Yes, Mr. Castillo?
You know, I want to acknowledge Mark, and, you know, I think, you know, his concerns are very valid, and I agree with Mr. Nieto. We'll have that full-blown discussion with respect to having a review and all that kind of good stuff on Monday. But I had a couple questions. Doc, through attrition, about approximately how many employees do we, I know that there's no way of knowing in May, right? But on average, every year, how many employees?
Usually around 40 or 50
40 to 50?
that resign or retire, possibly more.
40 to 50. I mean, federal positions, I mean, that's out of our control, right? That comes from the feds or the state. I mean, I agree with you. We'd have to see if it's possible, if we don't get that funding, to help as many people as we can at the most needed positions that help students. But that one's out of our control. With respect to the health insurance budget and the deficit, I mean, I think we are going to have to get very creative, especially on the pharmacy side.
Yes.
I had mentioned that.
Yes.
When that came up on the agenda, whenever it came up on the agenda. And yeah, I mean, every school district's kind of dealing with that at that point. You're maybe looking at international pharmacy benefits or whatnot. And then the rising cost of substitutes, you know, by $1 million. I mean, that's something I see in other districts as well. I don't know how to address that. That's really tough, right? Because teachers, employees could take their personal leave. They're entitled to it by law. We just got to figure out a way to incentivize them coming to work, or just taking it when they really need it. But that's a real tough one. But yeah, I do think you know, Mr. De Los Santos has, you know, he does have merit to what he's saying. My only issue here is that it was approved. We let folks know we were going to do it, and I think you know, we need to address the concerns that we do have with our budget. But after this is fulfilled, because it was said that we were going to do it, and that's my position on it. I just I don't want folks to think that that me or any of the other board members are ignoring that there may be an issue or that there is an issue, and we fully intend to address it on Monday. But for today, I mean, I think we just need to fulfill the promise that we made to our employees.
And along those lines, everything that's brought up is, there's no question to it, but I know Dr. Rivera well enough to support his recommendation, because I know he's been looking at this very closely. No one has done more to ensure that every employee is well taken care of. And I'll guarantee you he has lost a lot of sleep over this and would not have said anything if he didn't have a plan in effect. It may not be materializing right now, but he's been around long enough to know that he'll find a way. But we all have to work together. And it's going to take a tremendous effort from each and every one of us to help. This is not a one-man show. This is a team effort, and this is the way it's going to work. So, based on that, I again support my motion for this recommendation.
Okay. All right, any other questions? All right, we have a motion from, okay.
I'll just go ahead.
Ms. Usteca, go ahead.
I'm just going to keep on going what you guys are saying. First of all, the question, Dr. Rivera, in June, it said incentive stipends, and then we had 2.5 million on the screen. Is that for both December and May, or just when?
Just for December.
Just for December,
Is
so
it
it's
2.5
2.5 million.
2.6, Mr. Butterman? Is right? 2.6, 2.8,
2.8, okay, because
2.8. 2.8.
okay, because I looked at the June, when we had the budget meeting in June, and it said 2.5.
Yeah, I think that's probably more of an approximation. Right now, when we look at it with everything, it comes out to about 2.8.
2.8 million, okay, I'm gonna write that down. And then,
Pardon me on that one, but the stipend is only for December. There will be no May stipend.
okay, because if it was May, it'd be 5 point
No.
something million,
No,
okay,
For sure, no May stipend.
okay.
And that's always been conditional.
Yes.
Now that we're talking about the compensation, the plan, and this is kind of what has been playing in my head these past couple of days when this all came about last week on Friday. There is a policy, and I'm very policy driven because I'm doing always LSG. We have to read our policies, and you know there's a policy DEA. It says, and this is what I tried to explain to the public on Facebook. If funds are already approved by the board and they're in the compensation plan, they cannot be unapproved unless the board unapproves them. And we had it met on Friday when that letter that got all this started went on, and so there was miscommunication there between the board and the community and Dr. Rivera and admin. It just got it's a very hairy situation. But if we know our policies and we know what the rule book says to do, that should have never happened. And I did ask on Friday, I was trying to do my work at the office, payroll, and my phone, and I get it, everybody was, what's going on? So I kept getting calls and phone calls. I mean, I'm sure all of us feel kind of the same thing. It was just every 5 minutes. So I said, please, can you send out a response? Or somebody do something, send something out so that way they know that we have to take board action first. Let us discuss it. Let's do this the right way. But the letter never went out. The only letter that got to the employees was, this is being taken away. And I'm making the I statement here. I feel like if that would have been done, this kind of snowballed into all this big thing, but it could have been stopped on Friday and give us time to discuss and see what's going on. But that didn't happen. And so that's what I want to see, not just us as a board, but administration and Dr. Rivera. Like, let's all be on the same page about policy and what are the right ways to do things, or what are the gray areas. We have to all be on the same page about that, because it's teamwork. And through LSG also, our Lone Star Governance, which teaches us how to be better at governance, we have board constraints. And we never really talk about this during our monthly meetings. We're always talking about which is great, the academics of the kids, but we don't talk about the constraints. And constraints, what is that? Well, constraints means these are things that you should not do. And when we had our training as a board, we agreed as a board that there's 5 things that we shall not do as a board. And the number one constraint, and I'm making my I statement right now, the number one constraint that as a board we came up with as a team is the board members shall not, number 1, engage in negative conversation or public behaviors that put the district, staff and students, board as a whole, or the community in a negative manner or light. And this has turned into a violation of that board constraint because of everything that's happened from Friday until now. There's been, of course, we all read social media. And if we don't read them, someone's going to send them to us and look what they said. So of course we know everything going around. And it just that situation made us look like we're not being transparent or not being honest. And I did not appreciate that. So we need to work as a team, like you guys said. We need to be on the same page and have that communication, because without communication, this is what happens. And we have to follow the policies, because if we follow the policies, we'll be okay. But there can't be any gray areas, and we have to listen to each other. Because if I feel I'm not being listened to, and I'm a board member, I know why teachers and other people tell us it's because they don't listen to us. Well, guess what? Sometimes I feel the same way, and I'm on the board. So we have to listen to each other. Okay, and that's it for now. I'll wait for the rest for Monday.
Thank you, Jackie.
Dr. Rivera, just a quick question on the financials for last year. When are we expecting those? What was the timeline on that?
He gave it to you in September. He gave you a preliminary.
But preliminary, but the final?
The final in February,
The final you can, I'm sorry, go ahead now.
right? Dr. Rivera?
Yeah.
It's the February, I believe, is the final
Well, see, that's the
one.
Carl Riggs report. You can ask for finals as a board anytime you want, preliminary right now. Carl Riggs is just verifying they're called the audited final report. But you have your staff there that's already open and willing to give you the numbers that you need, okay? And the reason I say that staff, they're not here today, but they're vocal already because they see what's coming, right? And so they're more willing to talk to you all directly as well too, okay? These aren't cries that are just being made recently. It's like I was saying, they reached out to me because they're the ones doing the numbers. And these are individuals that are bravely speaking out, okay, that are trying to stop what's coming in May. And actually what you just got told right here in number 1, you know, having a discussion like this about 300 plus, you know, students being dropped and the potential reduction of teachers and staff, that's not what you want to be talking at this time. That's a discussion that should have happened a long time ago, okay? And I'm sorry, Ms. Ustaita, yes, I understand she's talking about the, that I put the board meeting there, okay, yes, and to some of you, like I said, I just wanted to show that this was brought up a long time ago because this is a crisis, right? First part of solving a crisis is knowing that you're in one, okay? And I did not know at the time, because Mr. Sedna reached out to me, okay? And I did not know at the time that, I went to a board planning meeting with you and Rivera and Doc. When I went to that meeting, I didn't reach out and talk to everybody else. I don't do that. I follow protocols, man. So I put out there what really happened. I only put myself, my clippings, and I put the vote, right? So that people know, yes, it was brought up, and that way I'm being transparent and they can reach out. Because look at what you're seeing at now. But I didn't know at the time, okay? So I will apologize to you, okay? I don't know, you voted the way you did. He called me and he said, hey, he gave me his opinion real quick. And he told me, I didn't see the documentation that you took. Nobody gave me anything. So I went in there listening to you and I made my judgment off of what you were saying versus Rivera.
And just to add to that, I mean, and I know Monday's gonna come up, but
Correct.
if I don't have information and I'm supposed to make a decision on, I just don't like to be going off inaccurate information. And it's like, I mean, I'll use this example. I'm going to coach and I'm giving a scouting report and it's not accurate. I mean, how are we gonna move forward?
Yes.
So I did not have some of that information that was presented or that you had that I didn't have.
Yeah, well, I gave it
And
to
I'm-
Dr. Rivera.
And I'm
presented
I'm
it
supposed to
him.
make a decision on that. That's not cool.
Yeah.
So,
Again, on Monday, we'll have a deep discussion and overall,
Doctor's questions. Mr. Abel, Mr. Buttermer, do you have the answer for Dr. Rodriguez? What he asked for?
The Riggs report, is it February?
February.
That we're expecting on
The
February?
audit report?
Yes.
The Riggs report? Yes, comes final in February.
Well, we'll have these figures on Monday. We'll have some information on Monday, right? Monday, at least the preliminary ones?
yes,
Present-
we
okay.
should, because we normally have it Monday.
That-
Yeah,
okay.
so,
And then also maybe also up to through November, see where we're at through November there also.
Yes.
I just want to say on number 1, when the school year started, we had less than 100 students less than last year.
Correct.
So this is growing from September to now, where it's 300. So we didn't have the 300 in September, otherwise I would have told you at that time.
Right.
I
And-
also want to clarify, through attrition means people
Yes,
retiring,
yes.
not necessarily, reduction in force or
Yes.
whatnot.
All the good discussion, but our agenda item today is to approve the retention stipend, not a bonus, not a promise, it was a retention stipend. A lot of people say that it was a promise and that it was promised back in there. No, we approved it to be a retention stipend, all right? So we have a motion by Coach Cuellar, a second by Mr. Ben Castillo. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
That's right.
Motion passes.
Can I just say a few words? real
Yes, sir.
quick?
Yes, sir.
I could have done a better job before the letter was sent out. When I knew about this, we could have set an agenda item for the last board meeting, but I didn't. So that, I'll take responsibility. I should have done that, but I did not. And the reason I sent the letter out was when I started seeing these 5 items, I said, I need to make sure that we have enough monies. Since we have these 5 issues, that was the reason I went ahead and sent the letter out before a board meeting, because I was concerned that if these things happen, we are going to have a problem in May.
Okay.
And again, this is why I made the call, the decision. The stipend is something that's not a promise to anyone.
Correct.
It's, our staff here is among the highest paid.
Correct.
Our teachers are among the highest paid, our staff. So I felt, again, I did not expect all that happened on social media. got viciously attacked myself. And here I've given to the district 50 years, and it's always been the best that I can to make our kids safe. And it kind of hurt a little bit when I saw that negative stuff about me. So again, I'll take responsibility. I should have done this, discussed with the board at the last board meeting, but I did not. These factors again came to me before our meeting was scheduled in January. And that was the reason I just wanted to make the board also aware of where we're heading with these five factors, because they are very important, and they're going to hit us very hard come May. And as your superintendent, I'll do my best to find a way where I can find a way to make sure that the people here do not lose their job, that we reduce our staff through attrition, that we don't have to go out there and do a rift. And I'll study very carefully with the board the health insurance to make sure that it does not go into the red. We may, like Mr. Ben said, we may need to change some things. And also the substitutes. We may have to look at what we pay the subs. I think the pay was there for a long, long time during the COVID years.
Correct.
So we were paying high amount for the subs. So now it's time to look at as a board to see if we can decrease this, and also work with the teachers, because they get 10 days a year, and many of them take the 10 days. So when they take the 10 days, we have to hire a sub. So maybe come up with incentive that if you don't use your days, there's a little bonus or something here where our teachers don't use their 10 days. Again, I apologize to the board because I put you in this predicament where you were the ones that received all the negative calls too, but it came from me. So I should be the one taking responsibility for what happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rivera. And as Coach Cuellar mentioned, every single staff member, not just teachers, every staff member in the WISD, they're getting this stipend. It's important that each one of you at each school motivate and encourage the parents, the students to come to school. Very important. That's just something that, and we need to work together. As like Dr. Rivera mentioned, working together, like Mrs. Sustaita mentioned, knowing what's happening, like Mr. Mark de los Santos mentioned, we need to work together so we can move forward and limit the amount of loss that we're gonna have this year. But working together with Dr. Rivera and my fellow board members, I think it's very important that we communicate a little bit better. And as board president, I will attempt to do that. I've tried to do that as much as possible. But with time and with the patience and with Dr. Rivera's expertise, I believe we're gonna move forward. And especially this year, because I'm very confident that the schools are gonna do well. Just in looking at the benchmark results and so forth, and they're doing very well. And when you hear from teachers, when you hear from parents, how their sons and daughters are doing in schools, very important. But together, we'll move forward and make this district as great as it's always been. So, thank you. Adjournment?
So moved.
All right. It is 5:58, and we adjourn.